What's going on, guys? So, got this car behind me. It was on the dyno. It's on the dyno actually 2 times. First time, it didn't want to hit Vtec. On the dyno, it just didn't want to switch over. So we pulled it off, talked to the customer, and gave us the go-ahead to look into it deeper. Now, I do got a list, and I wanted to make a quick video to help people out, because we get this question asked a lot. Either people will call us or shoot us a message. Hey, I did an engine swap. Car will not hit Vtec. This and this and that. So hopefully this video helps. So on my list, and I tried to kind of go in order, but, you know, let's start with the basic stuff. Your oil level. If you're low on oil, or your oil is too thin, let's say it's, you know, you've been running the oil for a while and you haven't changed it, that will cause a low oil pressure issue, and that's what makes Vtec engage, is the oil pressure. So the other stuff I have on the list is a wiring issue. Simple as that, not wired correctly. ECU issue, maybe the ECU doesn't have Vtec set up for it. I've seen it before. Guys say it's a Vtec ECU. You take the cover off, it's not a Vtec ECU. Dirty Vtec screen. So this is actually behind the Vtec solenoid. I'm going to pause it real quick, and I'm going to go run and grab a Vtec solenoid. Okay, so I'm back with a Vtec solenoid that's on the shelf. And you can see the screen that's right here. If that gets clogged, that's also not going to help your Vtec issue. Sadly enough, though, if that's clogged to a point where you got a bunch of metal shavings in there, your motor's probably done for. So we got dirty Vtec screen. Already talked about thinner oil. An internal head issue. Let's say you rebuilt the head, or you had somebody rebuild the head, and now Vtec doesn't want to magically be there. Inside the head, it's a lot of stuff going on. So could be something internally. The other thing, and I'm going to grab my computer and I'm going to show you guys, if your RPM is not working, and the other setting is I think it's the coolant temp, like I said, I forgot, I'll go get the program. If those are not working, and let's say you're on S300, a Honda S300, your car is not going to engage Vtec, because the car thinks it's actually sitting still, and it will not engage Vtec when the car is sitting still. So that's another thing too to keep in mind. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get up, I'm going to show you guys. I did a pull on the dyno. How we have it now, we have a checklist that we go through. We have all the steps. What we have now is the oil pressure gauge. Let me show you guys. We have the oil pressure gauge hooked up to this port. This is actually a whole Matco set that we bought. This can check pressure anywhere that you need to check oil pressure. So this is running. It's actually stuck to the dash, so I can do a pull and see if oil pressure if we're getting oil pressure. When it's running at idle, until Vtec actually opens up, you're going to read 0 on this line. So it's going to read 0. Now the other thing we have running for this wire is a simple old test light. Got it right here, pry it in here so I can see it, and when Vtec hits, which you're going to see in the video, you will see it light up. In this case scenario, the screen was clogged. This setup, I believe it's a pretty old setup. Seeing what's on this car, looks like it was put together a while ago. Not only was the screen clogged, the oil was pretty thin, so we did an oil change as well, and we checked everything else. We checked for continuity with the wiring to make sure that we're good to go. And you can see right here too, when you're talking about the Vtec solenoid, one thing to test to see if the Vtec solenoid is working actually is putting a 12 volt source to this wire. We have a power probe. If you're not familiar with that, Google it. And we can literally activate it, and you can hear it clicking. So that's another thing. If you got a bad Vtec solenoid, doesn't happen a lot, but we have seen it. So I can't say it's not impossible to have a Vtec solenoid. So ultimately, that's it. The other sensor that's on the side is the oil pressure sensor. A lot of time guys will just disable this in the program. You know, that by the time that triggers, and if you have low oil pressure, you're going to have a bigger issue with the actual motor itself. That's about it, guys. It's very simple. It's basic. Start though with a game plan and chip away at it. That's my recommendation for you guys. And of course, as always, if you guys got questions and comments and concerns, message us. Please subscribe. Please like. Please share it up. Thanks a lot, guys. Want to also do a quick rundown of what you're going to see in the one video that I'm going to edit in here. You see the test light. When the test light lights up, that's the ECU sending a 12-volt signal to this little guy to activate it. Now inside here, you can see the little rod the plunger that's going to plunge up and down and allow oil pressure inside the head to lock Vtec. That's what you're going to see on the oil pressure gauge as well. So the main reason we put it back on the dyno is because we had to finish the tune, number one, and ultimately we had to test it in a safe environment, which instead of doing it on the street and trying to look at that stuff, we did it on the dyno. Hopefully this helps you guys out, guys. Take care. So one more quick thing to show you guys. This is inside Honda S300. You can see the settings for Vtec. Vtec oil pressure switch is actually disabled. It's not enabled because a lot of motors do not actually have that sensor on the side. But you can see the other things that Vtec is looking for. Minimal throttle must be 40%. Minimal speed must be 9. Minimal temperature must be 153 degrees. Yes, you can change the minimal speed to read have a kick on at 0, but you don't want to be doing that. Fix the speed issue that you have. Same with the temperature. If you're having a temperature issue, you're having a problem with the sensor or the wiring, fix that first before you go messing around with Vtec. Hopefully that kind of shows you guys with the program. I wanted to cut that in here and just show you guys.